Hey guys, so today we're going to be comparing three mid-range phones. We've got the Huawei Nova 3i, the Oppo R15 and the Samsung A8 Star. The Huawei Nova 3i runs on the KIRIN 710 chipset. It's got 4GB of RAM plus 128GB of internal storage that is expandable up to 256GB. The rear camera on the Nova 3i is a 16MP plus 2MP dual setup, while the front camera consists of a 24MP plus 2MP dual setup. What's unique about the Nova 3i is that all four cameras, both in the rear and in the front, are AI enabled. As for the Oppo R15, it runs on the HELIO P60 chipset. It comes with 6GB of RAM plus 128GB of internal storage that can be expanded up to 256GB. The rear camera is 16MP plus 5MP dual setup, while the front camera is a single 20MP lens. Last but not least, the Samsung A8 Star runs on the SNAPDRAGON 660 chipset. It comes with 4GB of RAM as well as 64GB of internal storage that is expandable up to 512GB. The rear camera is a dual 24MP plus 16MP setup, and on the front is a single 24MP camera. Display-wise, all three phones have pretty similar screen sizes and displays, with the main difference being that the Huawei Nova 3i has an LCD screen while the other two sport AMOLED displays. This means that the Nova 3i has a lower maximum brightness that makes the screen look dimmer compared to the other two. The Nova 3i and the Oppo R15 both have a notch, while Samsung has stuck to a regular rectangular display for the A8 Star. When it comes to performance, all three processors are fairly comparable, with only the A8 Star performing slightly better than the other two in benchmark tests. All three phones perform smoothly and responsively, especially for your average daily use, be it browsing the web, watching videos, or playing mobile games. On paper, the Samsung A8 Star has the best rear camera, while the Huawei Nova 3i has the best front cameras. Those 24MP plus 2MP lenses on the front allow you to take great selfies in portrait mode, which also feature a convincing background blur. These front cameras on the Nova 3i are also the first ever to be powered by AI software that can automatically optimize your photos for those beautiful well-lit selfies. In terms of battery life, the Samsung A8 Star has the biggest battery capacity at 3700 mAh. Coming in next is the Oppo R15 with 3450 mAh, and finally we've got the Nova 3i at 3340 mAh. Now down to the nitty-gritty specs. All three phones have dual SIM card slots and the 3.5mm headphone jack. Out of the three, only the Samsung is using a USB-C port, while the other two are still using the older micro USB port. So, since all three phones are pretty comparable, the deciding factor here is most likely the price. The Nova 3i gives you the greatest value at only $398, while the other two are close to $800. Overall, the Samsung A8 Star is the best performing out of the three, but that's to be expected given its higher price. But if you're looking for a smartphone with similar features and specs at only half the price, then the Huawei Nova 3i is a no-brainer. It really holds its own against the Samsung and Oppo and at nearly half the price.